I just pulled out my phone and started recording. I don't know if this recording is going to make it to somebody, if I'm going to upload it, if I'm just having a personal vent to myself. Yes, I got my plaits in my hair. This is how I get the wave texture. I got my plaits. Yes, 100% natural, all me. Yes, these are the plaits. And I'm so grateful that I'm off in a space that I don't do it for the show. I don't do it for the looks. So I don't have to paint on a face to come in public. So yeah, this is me, 100% me. But I'm sitting here and outside of the hospital getting ready to pick up my aunt, waiting on them to roll her out. And I'm just deep in thought. So deep in thought that I know I don't have my pen and paper where I can write it down. So I need to talk it out. I need to get it out because I don't need it to run through my head. If you have ever heard me speak before, one thing it is that I always say is walking with God is hurtful. I don't link it up with being hard. I link it up with being hurtful for multiple reasons. You lose people, relationships, you get talked about, people don't understand you. God give you a promise, and in order to fulfill the promise, in order to see the promise, everything that's inside of you that is world has to be emptied out, and then you have to be filled up with the word. And when I say everything world have to be emptied out, every way I knew of how to survive is tested, is taken away. No longer paychecks, no longer, the way I used to take care of myself. It's just strictly word. God says, lean on me. The only way that you're going to know if my word works is I got to show you how it works. And I test you, Shamika. I test you. And walking with God while you're being tested to be able to see spiritually, because in the physical, I ain't got it. I don't have it. But God says in the spiritual, you have it. So in order for me to see it in the spiritual, I got to stay in my word morning, noon, night. And the thing about it is that people that are around me, I get it, that God didn't give you the vision. I get it, that God didn't give you the promise. He gave it to me. I'm past that point that, we should all be at the same space of understanding. I get it. I now understand that the vision it is that God gave me, He didn't give it to everybody else. But where people get upset with you, not understanding that if I don't keep my face, my eyes, my heart focused towards the word of God, then I look at the nothing that I have. The only way that I'm able to see everything I have is by looking at the word of God. I'm in the middle of the transitioning stage, right? Where those promises it is that God has promised me, it's in the middle of heaven and earth. And while it's in the middle of being transitioned from heaven into my hands here on earth, the enemy is doing everything he can to keep me from receiving it. And it's so hurtful. Because it would be easier for me, Lord, if I could just go off in a corner, just me and you. I don't even want to deal with people. But that's not my life. I'm married. I have children. I have responsibilities. There are people that I feed into every day. So God sets you up in such a way that while you're waiting on me, will you still serve me? It's hurtful. And if I could just get through this thing with just me and God, it will look different. It'll feel different. But that's not how God sets it up. He builds you up as He's walking, where every time you have to refocus yourself to turn back to Him. Walking with God, it's not hard. It's hurtful. you lose everything that you thought that you once owned. You're no longer prideful, you're humble. You're no longer angry, you're loving. You're no longer confused, you know. You don't hear the lies anymore, you're able to know the truth. And the truth does hurt. When you're able to see that people really, if I ain't got nothing to give you, they really ain't fooling with you. But God says, I have everything to give you. I'm not going through this season with my fingers crossed, hoping that God is going to do something. I'm going through this season because I know it's already done. I'm just walking in it. But my God is hurtful. To see the beauty in God is one thing. But to taste and feel everything else that go along with it is another. Keep your eyes turned to the kingdom. Everything that's good and perfect comes from above. Weapons are going to form, but no weapon that forms is going to prosper. You're going to be I'm making you into a lender, no longer a borrower. After you have suffered for a little while, there is victory. I'll make your enemies your footstools. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, or any of their seeds begging for bread. I won't have you looking a fool. These are the things I tell myself, that I remind myself to keep going. And want to look at me and like, okay, you wake up and you're in the Bible. In the middle of the day, you're in the Bible. Late at night, that's all I got. Because nobody understands when you're not depending on the world and you're solely depending on the Word. Wow. My time is closer than I could have ever imagined. Because the licks, I could feel it. But I come away from this thing with not one bruise, not one puncture, not one hair out of place. Because that's the promises of God. If you're one that is also trusting God, and He's giving you an assignment, I want to encourage you. You're not alone. I know it's hurtful. I know it's lonely. I know that it's hard to see what it is that you have in the world compared to everything it is that you have in the Word. But God promises there's a great reward for your obedience. Stay faithful. Run along and see what the end will be. It's not about how fast you get there, but it's about the one that endures it to the end. Don't give up based on what it looks like, what it feels like. Stay in the race. God will. God is. God was. God will forever be a man of His word. That's our Father, and He arts in heaven. Blessed be His name. I love you. Have a good day.